Welcome to the Bite-Sized Storytelling Show, brought to you by Commaful.com, where we bring you techniques, advice, and stories that will help you on your writing journey. Without further ado, please give a warm welcome to our special guest.
Hi Commaful, my name is Rosie Sandler. I'm a poet, a novelist, a story writer. I lead workshops, creative writing workshops, and I'm also an editor and proofreader. I just wanted to talk to you today a little bit about submitting, as I feel or have noticed this is something that isn't always included in creative writing courses, and I think it can be quite helpful just to have a little bit more information on that. So whatever you're sending, you would always include a cover letter. If it's a batch of poems, if it's a short story, and if it's a novel, and we'll talk first about novels, I think. You're going to want to send exactly what the agent or publisher states on their website. Do not think you can sneak in another 1,000 words unless they say approximately in their word count. They tend to specify exactly what they want. And if you don't do exactly what they want, then they may not even read your submission. So it's really worth showing that you can follow basic instruction. And if they say 3 chapters, obviously send 3 chapters, and they will also ask for a synopsis. And the synopsis, usually, if you can get it down to 1 page, that would be ideal. Some people will accept 2 pages. Again, read what they ask for. If they don't say, then 2 pages might be okay. But really with the synopsis, you're looking to have something that flows quite well, that tells the whole story, but only really the main points of the story. So don't feel you have to describe every little bit of any subplots, but make sure you've got the entire main plot in there, including twists. Almost every agent or publisher will want to know the twists, and also they will want to know the ending. So make sure you include the ending. They want to know that you can start and finish the story and give it a good middle. So try and include all of that and get other people to read it and check for you that it flows right before you send it off. Now, whereas the novel should be double-spaced, the synopsis you can get away with single-space. Include at the top of the synopsis the word count of the novel, the genre that you think it fits into, and your name, address, and contact details. So you've got quite a lot to fit into potentially one sheet of paper. Coming back to the thing about sending exactly what they ask for, always send from the beginning of your book. Don't think, well, the best bit's the middle. If the best bit's the middle, there's something wrong with the start, and an agent or publisher will quickly query that. They'll want to know what's wrong with the start if you haven't sent that. You need to show them that you can hook the reader right from the start. And if you're not too clear how that works, think about having a question up front that isn't answered. Jim was sitting staring into his pint, wondering if his day could get any worse. Immediately the reader thinks, what's happened? Why is his day so bad? So the hook is something that plants a question in your reader's mind. So try and keep a question in the reader's mind as they read through the book, so that they'll always be wanting to read on and try and get answers. If you're sending out poems, unlike stories and novels, poems should be single-spaced, and some people like to indent quite a lot and have the poem more in the middle of the page, but I think it's perfectly acceptable just to have it aligned as normal just down the left-hand side of the page. Obviously, if your poem has a specific structure, then ignore what I'm saying and structure your poem as you see fit. The other thing I was thinking about was the terms simultaneous submission and multiple submission. If you're sending out stories and poems, you may come across those terms, and in case you don't know what they mean, multiple submissions would be about sending more than one submission to the same magazine, anthology, publisher at the same time. And simultaneous would be sending the same submission to different publishers. Sorry, quick pause there. What was I talking about? Miscellaneous and simultaneous. So if a publisher or, an editor says no multiple submissions, then just send them the number of poems or stories they've asked for, and don't then send them another batch until you hear back from them. Some of them even state that if you've had an acceptance or rejection, you should leave it a set number of months before you submit again. So always check things like that on the website. And coming back to your cover letter, if you were sending a novel, then I would recommend that the first paragraph is an introduction about your novel. So just saying this is my novel called X, it's this many thousand words, and it's in such and such a genre. And then, if you've got a wonderful little tagline, feel free to put that in at that point. Then explain more about the book. I'd do a paragraph then that says Jim Smith lost his wife 10 years ago or whatever, and now someone just turned up claiming to be her. That's your little introduction to the novel. And then the next paragraph should be a little biography of you. So not what your favourite clubs are, unless they're relevant to what you've written about, purely your publishing track record and any courses that you've done that are relevant to your writing. So if you've done a creative writing MA or been on an Arvon residential course or a course in whatever country you live in, that's the sort of thing to include. Equally, if you've had things published, include that. If you've had a lot published, just give a general idea. I've been published in many anthologies or magazines or whatever, including, and then maybe name 2 or 3 that sound particularly prestigious or impressive. So that's your cover letter. And if it's a novel you're sending, then you would say something along the lines of, I really hope you enjoy this extract. I'd be delighted to send you the full manuscript, and I look forward to hearing from you. You don't need any more than that. The letter should be a page maximum. It should fit onto 1 page. If you're sending poems or stories, some places don't even need a cover letter, but the cover letter or email, I would normally just say, I've been published in a number of places, including, and I hope you like this, and in your contact details, include those. Be very careful to take your contact details off the poems and the stories if it's a competition and you've been asked not to include them. I think that's all I can think of at the moment, just checking my notes. Don't go for fancy fonts unless it's a specific reason that your book is about fonts, or your poem is about fonts, or it's got the font makes some special impression to do with the poem. But generally speaking, stick to a fairly plain font like Times, Calibri, Helvetica, Arial, I think is another good one. And send your work out there, send it in a readable font, and good luck. I hope you do well. Oh, I'm Rosie Sandler. As I said, I have a series of 3 co-written novels published by HarperCollins that are for children. They are Agatha Oddly, the series is called, and there are 3 novels in that series aimed at children. They're detective series about Agatha Oddly, who was named after Agatha Christie, and I'm co-author, so I don't have my name on the front of those. I've got a novel called Rare Sight, which is a ghost story, and that's online on the Movellas website, and Rare Sight's attracted about 11,000 readers so far, and that's older children, probably sort of 12 to 14-year-old that I would say that was for. It's got a bit of murder and grisly stuff in there.
If you found this interesting, be sure to like, subscribe, and give a special thanks to our volunteer instructor. Reviews and likes really go a long way and help us provide more awesome writing resources to the Commaful community. If you aren't on Commaful yet, you can join a community of poets, short story authors, and fan fiction writers on Commaful.com.